What's up, future me? It's you from the past, walking around Las Vegas right now. Not sure if you'll remember this trip. Obviously, it's going to be fresh in my mind right now. Just wanted to get down some thoughts that were going on about it. And this is also my first experience like vlogging in public. A lot of people in this community have been encouraging each other to do so. So this is my first kind of like jump into this, walking around. Granted, it's not like maximum public right now because it's a little bit late in the evening. A lot of these shops you can see behind me are closed, so there aren't that many people walking around, so it's not as awkward as it could be, but still, this is a new experience. It's a different thing. Anyways, the main thing that I had on my mind I wanted to talk about, since I'm here in Las Vegas, and I almost never come to Las Vegas. I feel like the only time I ever come to Las Vegas was with my parents. Our parents, for whatever reason, like Las Vegas. So, anytime I come to Las Vegas, it's almost always to go with them because they invite me and I want to spend more time with them. Because, we're reaching a time where you start to think about like most of the time that you had with your parents are behind you and no longer in front of you. So every opportunity there is to take a short little trip, spend some time with them and bond with them as much as you can is important. And what's been on my mind about them with this trip and recently as well, more as like they're getting into their twilight years and into their older age, is about aging in general and what the process of aging really is like. And our parents are our first teachers. You learn everything from your parents. You imprint behavior from them. So there are times where I think about like what behaviors I've learned from my parents that have been really beneficial for me and aren't so beneficial. And in some ways I feel like, there's certainly things about health and eating that I picked up from my parents that I think is good, like moderation, not eating too much, not overeating, not being too indulgent. But then I think with regards to how they've been handling aging, in many ways they haven't been handling it that well. And there's almost like if there's a model for how to age gracefully, on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe my parents are like a 5.5 or a 6 or something. And I think a lot about things that they don't do, that they never instilled in me, and I've never really done. Like I've never been an athlete, never competed in any sports in any meaningful way in any part of my life. There are certain like career paths that I took that in some ways were like, I went down to try and push back against an early life, like childhood, teenage years and stuff that was spent almost entirely indoors and on screens. Like I really got into plants and gardening and doing stuff outside as a way to get out from behind screens. And here I am making content for people who are in front of screens. I mean, I guess myself, still in front of screens all the time. But that never fully translated to like actually spending more time in a gym, more time exercising, all this other stuff, because I never seemed like that important to me, because I never made competing in sports or being an athlete or whatever, it never seemed that important to me. Like I never thought I was going to be like climbing mountains or like riding e-bikes 40 miles or whatever. So it didn't seem like practical or functional. But what I realized as I see my parents getting older, see myself growing older as well, is that it's not just about like improving your functionality as an athlete, like being able to hit like a 7-minute mile or bench like X amount of pounds or whatever. It's that if there isn't like a normal routine of physical activity that's like constant, the body starts to degrade, and the older you get, the faster it starts to degrade without like these normal routines. And we had lunch with aunt and uncle of mine who are older than both of my parents, and kind of said it best, where it's you lose it or you use it or you lose it. With most things in life, and kind of accepting like that's the human body too. Everything is use it or lose it. If you don't exercise it, you don't maintain it, then it goes away. And there's this saying that I learned, I don't even know who I first heard this from, but it's the general thing of it's not what you can do, it's what you can maintain. It's not what you can own, it's what you can upkeep. And like that thought process has really taken hold within me as regards to physical possessions and items. And it's part of the reason why I've never like been that excited about owning like houses or even land. I mean, I like land a lot more than houses because I see like land is where the inherent value comes from. Houses are still made out of like a whole bunch of materials that can break down and need to be all this and that. But like you see that when you own a house, you have to maintain it. You have to like fix the walls. You have to make sure the windows don't leak. You gotta, if pipes burst and things freeze, whatever. You got all this stuff. And whatever you own, it also owns you in a way because you're responsible for its maintenance and its upkeep. Whether that's a house, whether that's a car, whether that's like clothing, a collection of different items, all like whatever physical stuff. And that mindset got into me so early on, but it's taken longer for me to come around and understand that applies to like my physical body or the physical body in general, right? Like you own it, you need to exercise it, you need to maintain it. And I've got like little nagging problems. I got like this thing in my neck, this crazy like knot in the shoulder area that never goes away. I wonder how much of that is a result of like physical labor that I got into doing, in my farming, gardening projects and stuff, without ever having like a proper at the gym exercise routine, stretching, whatever else it is. And just like everything else in life, it has to be maintained, and I need to start looking at it in terms of like time. Like if you want to get to age of 70, 80, 85, whatever, like have good longevity, be in good shape, still be able to walk around even a mall like this with these crazy, look at these crazy like ceilings, right? In a place as artificial and fake as Las Vegas, then you got to accept that there's a time tax that goes into maintaining this physical body. And if you spend 8 hours a day, 8 out of the 24-hour cycle sleeping, which I don't, God, I barely sleep like 5.5 to 6 hours on average, something that's really hard for me to figure out how to get better at and work on, then you've got 16 hours, waking hours. So what would it look like if you really spent like 10% of those hours exercising, maintaining, improving the body? Is that too much of a time tax in terms of being detracted, quote unquote, from the things you actually want to do? Or what are the sliders there in terms of like how much time can you put in and versus how much improvement in the experience of the body and the performance of the body that you get out that converts. This is all stuff that I don't know because I've never trained for any sports or exercised for anything in my life. Maybe that's like the journey that I need to go on and I need to figure out and learn from. But anyway, that's for you, future me in the future, to know as we get more of our mind around how to organize this. And those are all the thoughts that I had for this, my first time vlogging in public. Had a few people staring at me here and there. Whatever. It's not too bad, right? Not too bad. Shout out to everyone in that vlogging community. Love seeing your guys' videos. Hope you found this interesting and provided some value. I know me in the future is going to look back on this with some interest. Peace.